Yeah, we're live now. The,
How are we?
Yeah, the whole day was like this whole day is kind of crazy because I've been just a little bit behind schedule today. I've been trying to get up earlier and get to all my videos before, so I'd be done after the show for the day. This has been something I promised my wife I would do like forever ago. Yeah. And so this week I've been kind of scrambling around. It's a little behind today. So I forgot to hit the start button. I forgot to hit the start button.
Am I right, Melanie?
Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder. Yeah. Master's degree really paying off. There's a new preview for a movie called Backrooms from A24. That looks like it could be pretty good. I just trust A24. I haven't watched the trailer yet.
Have you heard of a show called Dark?
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it? Okay.
It's very
I just
complicated.
Glowing. They call it like a puzzle box or something.
Yeah.
I just heard a glowing review of it, and they were saying like very few of this style can hold up beginning to end.
Yeah.
I've been considering.
Let me show you what. Let me tell you what, like, this is how you have to understand this is how you understand the show. And I had to rewatch episodes and literally use some of these charts for a while because I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Show with a chart. Ooh.
It's like this complicated. You basically have multiple timelines going on all at the same time.
Oh.
And so you're watching, like, basically, this doesn't really ruin it, but like basically there's like a portal. You don't really know what the hell it is, but you find out later that it's like teleporting people to different periods in their own life, and then so they interact like with their own people, and like it gets very confusing, like but I loved it. And then they created a show after the success of Dark called like 1866 or some shit like that. Like it was on a boat, and they had gay shit in it right away. And it got canceled after one season. I can't remember what that show was called, but I was like, right away there was like gay stuff, and I was like, come on, guys, like, ugh. Well, that's what they were doing, I guess. But it was just so disheartening, and then I got canceled, and I was like, ha.
Like, I win.
Yeah. Let's see. I finished Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen, and
did it hold up?
It did the thing that every Netflix series does. It should have been 4 episodes. And then they make it like 6 or 7. And like there's like a whole episode of this that you could just cut out. Like I was just sorting cards and like pricing cards during that episode, and I was like, I didn't miss anything at all. But yeah, I'd give that show a hard 7.25 worth a watch.
Not terrible of you. Worth a watch.
Yeah,
7.25. I like the quarter scale ratings. Usually they're on half.
Very on brand.
Yeah. Well, almost for me, almost any movie can be a 4, 5, or 6 because you just know it's like, look, your personal preference, this, that, and the other thing. Once you're over 7, then I really I try to take it seriously. And there's a huge difference between 7 and 8. Like you can't just have
That's true.
So it's very rare that I would give something higher than an 8. This was pretty close. I gave it a hard recommend yesterday to Hannah Claire and then showed the preview, but it did kind of peter out at the end. That said, still probably the best new show I've seen on Netflix in 10 years. I don't know. Stranger Things was okay for a little while, but I got sick of that too. I did watch the end of Netflix, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as people said. People said it was like a horrible, like disastrous last season, worse than Game of Thrones. I'm like, no, it definitely wasn't.
Things?
Yeah, like it had a stupid, like everybody gets their exclusive send-off episode, which is kind of dumb, but like I thought it was great.
Were you a Stranger Things fan, Melanie?
No, I didn't really give it much of a chance though. Like I watched one episode, and for some reason I just couldn't get into it and never really tried again. Yeah,
I think I watched maybe the first season, but it fell off pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. How do I say? Like, I didn't even watch the seasons when they came out, so I wasn't like a hardcore. You know, I watched the first couple seasons, and then the last season came out, and then I finally watched like the second last season that I had missed before that. But I really liked the second last season a lot. They had really cool character development. But of course, everybody's gay, and there's like homoeroticism in it, and there's like 2 of the 5 main characters are gay, and it's hard to like really want to turn that on because I was already pot committed.
Right.
We need a top 10 movies of all time. Yeah, but see, my top 10 would just be top 10 horror thrillers.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what, I couldn't tell you any comedy. I would tell you would be from the early 90s. Like Uncle Buck, probably all time favorite.
Oh, so
Planes,
good.
Trains, Automobiles up there. Original Home Alone, very, very good. I will say probably the newest comedy that I actually still like is probably Grandma's Boy, which is like 15 years old. Super Troop, the original Super Troopers was really funny. I thought that was good. Watch Good Eats, Jeremy. I did see it. I recommended that, didn't I? Let me see. Oh no, that's Good Times. That was really good. That's with Robert Pattinson. And I know everyone hates him or whatever, but like,
Why do people hate him?
I don't know. Well, because he's
The
kind of
girl that's a
woke.
lesbian now cheated on him with that director guy. Shouldn't he
Yeah,
be
yeah.
more sympathetic to?
I like Robert Pattinson. I think he's a great actor. Like,
I thought he was a
does
great
kinda-
Batman too. People
Yeah,
were like,
he's
he sucks as
fantastic.
Batman. I was like, no way, he killed it.
He did.
Like,
I also
I'm
like
not-
when he does Twilight, what's it called? Press tours, and he's just like so sick of it, he hates the movie. Like, that's hilarious.
yeah. Well, he made that movie like, when he was a kid, and he spent. I mean, look at his. I don't want to go. This is like a. I get worked up about this because people talk shit about him, but like, dude, look at his catalog. First of all, you may say that Twilight was dumb. Fine, it made $1 billion, and it was probably the world's biggest movie franchise for 10 years. Then you go to Good Times, which is him. It's just great, a great movie. The Lighthouse, which is fucking incredible. Him and
There's that movie he was playing as a drug addict. I can't even remember what it was called. He was fantastic in that movie.
That's Good Times.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was such a good movie. His range is insane. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
The Lighthouse was William Dafoe, I think. It was just those two in The Lighthouse. Fucking incredible. And then I thought he was great as Batman. Now
He was.
I would. He's just different. Like people be like, "Well, is he better than Keaton?" No, because Keaton's Batman was at a time when Batman was kind of cheesy still, and like,
Right.
was he better than Christian Bale? No, because those are like different movies.
Okay, he was a better Batman than Christian Bale, but Christian Bale was a
I
better
agree.
Bruce Wayne.
I agree with
Yes.
that.
That's
Oh,
my opinion.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Dude, that scene, I don't care what anybody says. In that trailer, they're playing that Nirvana song, and then he just like beats the fuck out of everybody. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, like that was like way better than Christian Bale's Batman.
Yep.
He like basically spent a whole movie getting his ass kicked by Bane. Like he goes down in the subway and just beat, and then he just doesn't just beat him up. Like he fucking, like he turns their face into a fine paste on the sidewalk, and like it was good. He had the brooding thing, but he was kind of a lame Bruce Wayne. Like he didn't have the swag as
Yeah, he didn't.
yeah.
He was lacking swag.
But I also think that it shouldn't go without saying that I think Christian Bale's performance was improved by an incredible performance by Morgan Freeman in that movie too. Like
Oh.
Lucius
I get-
Fox,
Mhm.
like he was great, and he made Batman better. Like he made Bruce Wayne better because he was often interacting with Bruce, whether it was in like the Batcave or it was in the boardroom and stuff like that. But yeah, it was.
I think
it
that
was
can
good.
make a big difference, having like
Yeah.
it's not exactly his foil or anything, but
Oh, and
someone to
Commissioner
play
Gordon
off
his Commissioner Gordon was way better.
Right.
I thought Black Commissioner Gordon, he was fine.
He
but
wasn't terrible. Yeah.
No, he
no,
was.
but the Christian Bale Commissioner Gordon was like
He was
what
fucking
I
the
Right,
best.
right.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
the best. So probably best overall cast was the Christopher Nolan Batmans.
I
Like,
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't care if people are like, yeah, but original Batman. No, those are fucking cheesy and they didn't hold up. Like, you have Danny DeVito.
No,
like,
dude,
as a penguin.
I love that though. That's my favorite Batman movie. Is the old penguin in it? But I think
it doesn't really hold up though.
I think it does. I
you're
watched
on
it again
crack.
a couple of years ago. But it's just
Oh.
like some things are fine to be campy, and Batman is fine to be campy. Like
Yes,
I
it's
still
the
like
cartoon always was.
I
You
still
know?
like the grounded newer stuff, but like to me that Tim Burton Batman was just like unmatched.
Well, it was closer to the Adam West Batman, where like the Adam West Batman was campy and like goofy, like
Right.
him running around with a bomb for like 7 minutes, like, you know, like just kind of goofy stuff.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, anyway, that was a nice tangent. Couple of big pieces of news today. Before we get into it, just a quick shout out to Rumble Wallet for sponsoring the show. Huge shout out. Where is this? Okay, here. You may already know why people are moving to crypto, but there's a problem. Most wallets still plug into the same system we try to escape in the first place. That's why Rumble built Rumble Wallet. It's a self-custodial wallet that lives inside of an ecosystem that actually defends free speech and financial freedom. No bank holding your balance, not even Rumble, can touch your funds. This is your money on your keys, on your terms. If you're already using Bitcoin or stablecoins, Rumble Wallet gives you even more power with direct, fast tipping to support creators right on Rumble without waiting for weeks for payouts or dealing with random account holds. On-chain payments with assets like Bitcoin, Tether Gold, USAT, so you can move value globally without asking anyone for permission. Most wallets stop at storage, but Rumble Wallet connects you to the marketplace of ideas and refuses to cave to censorship. So if you're serious about sovereignty, both financial and digital, this is where you level up. Go to wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet on your app store, download it, back up your recovery phrase, and move your money where it belongs in your hands. Rumble Wallet is a technology provider only and not a custodial service. See terms at wallet.rumble.com. I'm glad that we had this topic for today. I'm glad that we had Estrocast today because we're going to go ahead and start with a segment on this because it's obviously probably the biggest news out there. So if you're watching this later, make sure this is just a segment from our quartering live show, which is live Monday through Thursday at 2 Eastern and Fridays at 1 Eastern. I hope that you'll tune in live, but you always have the VODs to watch. And so I try to pick the 2 or 3 most, the biggest stories of the day to discuss with you all. Last night, an NBA player was cut from his team for, essentially saying that Pride Month is a sin. That's essentially what he said. He didn't target anybody. In fact, let's bring up the actual video just so people can't misconstrue. One of the most disappointing things is now how a lot of other sports media people, there have been tons of sports people who've come out and are like tweeting, Christ is king and all this stuff. Like lots of NBA players and NFL players are coming out and saying like, it's their own form of protest. But this is what he said. Again, show me, you let me know where he says anything like over the line.
That the world can proclaim LGBTQ. Right? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets. Unrighteousness. So how is it that one can't speak righteousness? How is it one that how are they to say that this man is crazy?
I'm not the Jay I used to be, but the OJ is dead.
I mean, he said nothing wrong.
Yep.
He said he didn't target anybody and say like, oh, this bundle of sticks guy is a bad person. He's going. He never said any of that. Right. He just said like, yo, I'm a Christian, and I don't feel comfortable proclaiming unrighteousness.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, like, a lot of leftoids are like trying to be like, well, Jesus accepted everybody. I'm like, yeah, but he also said, follow my commandments to know. Like, he did
Jesus
not.
didn't accept everybody. Jesus called everybody to turn from sin. So he didn't accept their sin. He said he's welcoming everybody to turn from their sin and to follow him. He literally said, I am the only way. There is no other way to heaven outside of me. So get with the program or burn in hell. That's what Jesus actually said.
He said any of you could get with the program. Any of you are welcome
I
to
will
get with the
welcome
program.
you all to do it. But no, I will not welcome you as you are. Like, that's what, and so I'm sick and tired of people making up this hippie Jesus that, I accept you exactly as you are. No, he welcomed you to change and to be born again and to be a completely different person.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's about.
So the team cut him. Now, just so everyone knows, he's going to be fine. I think his rookie contract is worth like $25 million. But like, you have basically this crazy kind of low-key protest where all these NFL players and all this kind of stuff are tweeting out Christ is King now, and the Chicago Bulls are getting absolutely crushed. I think they made a huge mistake here. I think
they did too. Also because like all sports leagues, NBA is maybe not as bad as NFL, but like you guys keep some really questionable characters on your rosters, right?
You could beat your wife, but you can't say Christ is King. I mean,
right. You
what's
could
up
have
with that?
many baby mamas. You could do all kinds of stuff, but this guy is just saying like, I don't want to proclaim this in the way that you guys are wanting to in a social media video on his own social media.
Yeah.
But again, he works for a team. And I think one of the problems is, and I think I sent you both this contrast, like some outlets will say it's because he didn't, whatever Jaden Ivey cut because of questions about LGBT, and other ones will run it as like he said anti-LGBTQ stuff and that's why he got cut. And those sound really different, right? Like you were saying at the top of the show, if you're not interested in sports, you don't want anything with this person, you're like, wow, it makes sense if he's just screaming slurs. But then if you were to play this video, it would be a totally different situation. And I'm kind of glad that there's a counter protest from other athletes, because it just doesn't seem fair that like corporate sports has said, and we're seeing this play out in politics and other things right now, but like said, we have wholly adopted this embrace of, the pride flag and the rainbow and whatever. Yeah. And you guys have to too, because you wear our jersey, like it's odd. Wasn't there a couple months ago a hockey player who was like, I'm not gonna wear the pride jersey, it just goes against my beliefs. Much quieter. It doesn't seem like the team pushed back against him. It seems like, I remember his jersey sold like crazy right after.
He was like, I'm not going to talk about it. They kept trying to bait him for a soundbite. I mean, if you look like everybody in the NFL, here's like Juwanna Thomas, Christ is King, Tucker Kraft, Packers tight end, Jesus Christ is King, like all these people. And then they're trying to smear him like, Jaden Ivey reportedly used to ask Bulls reporters if they fornicated before marriage. I'm like, based? Like, why are you,
That's so funny.
I like to see the other athletes speaking out, because that's what we need to see. They can't fire them all, right? And so that's the thing is so many athletes proclaim to be Christian and believers. So this is your time to show it, okay? Like this is your time to prove it, and to stand in defense and what happened here in this situation.
Look at this clip from the Patriots head coach. So he was asked about Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
And by the way, again, Travion Henderson didn't say gay's bad. He just quoted a Bible quote and said, like,
he said about being persecuted for your faith, like blessed are those who are persecuted for their faith. So that was, that was really cool of him to do that. Yeah.
So then here's what Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots, says. I want people to keep in mind, do we think he'd be saying he needed to be educated if he had quoted the Quran or something?
Right. Travion quoted some Bible verses supporting a Chicago Bulls player who got released for some comments that he made. And I just, how do you measure the line between conduct detrimental to the team, which is why the Bulls released the player in their view, and allowing a 23-year-old to, you know, express his personal beliefs.
I think there is a fine line. I want to tell you, I love Travion. I love the person. He cares deeply about our team. He cares deeply about his faith. He cares deeply about his family.
Doing good so far.
His wife, the people in our building. And so I want them to be able to express what they believe in their heart and in their mind. But
yeah, it's a big but. Here we go.
We're doing so well.
Yeah.
So want to make sure that they're educated, and we want to be inclusive. We want to, everything we want to do wants to provide an.
So what he's saying is he was wrong.
Yeah.
He's saying that we want him to express the correct opinion. And like, do you think Mike, I mean, like literally fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he'd be saying if some Muslim was like, well, LGBTQ is a sin in my religion. Do you think Mike Vrabel will be like, oh yeah, we need to educate that Islamic guy? No shot. No way.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's the thing is, oh, sorry. But
No,
I'm
you go
just
first.
like, why is this even a thing in the first place? Why are these organizations celebrating guys doing butt stuff with each other? Like, why
Yes.
is this even a thing? This shouldn't have to, like, not everybody's going to support that. So why do you even have to celebrate it with a basketball game, a football game, this or that? Why is this even a topic of conversation? Because clearly not everybody is about that stuff, and they're allowed to not be about it. So why are you making everybody have to celebrate it?
But it's the same logic where they're like, if we put more females in charge of Marvel movies or whatever, then we'll attract a bigger female audience. Like, if we are, you know, LGBT friendly, surely we'll make more money off of them. Whereas, like, if you're gay and you like sports, you're gonna watch it anyways. Like,
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
how's that work
that
on-
big of a market capture.
Exactly.
That head coach to me is like not a great thing, but also they're not completely involved. I thought it was really weird that the Bulls head coach like kind of implied that he was crazy. He was like,
that's what they're doing right now. They got these press people.
Like, I don't want to
Emmanuel.
comment. I won't say if he is or isn't experiencing any mental health stuff, but I really think that's
Wow.
a resource we should give more players. You want to be like,
Yeah.
because he's a
Emmanuel
Christian?
Ocho.
Because he didn't want to go along with this corporate
Wow.
pride thing.
Yeah, Emmanuel Ocho or whatever has been like, he's a corporate former athlete. He's saying the same stuff. Josh Giddey, by the way, the guy who famously lost his job for a while for allegedly hooking up with a 16-year-old when he was in his 20s or something like that. Wow. He came out and smeared him too. He's on his same team. And like,
Wow.
it is possible that this guy
Also,
is
that
going.
guy got to stay. Hold on, team.
He left the team that he was on, and now he's on, of all teams, the Bulls, the same team that cut him for saying, you know, basically like, hey, we shouldn't be celebrating this. We have NBA player last night, like he's wearing the shirt that says faith is, I don't know, not for the weak, I think it says.
I mean, it's a Fashion Nova shirt, so I didn't really even see what it had said.
Yes, he did. He wore this on purpose.
He needs to stand by it. He needs
Well, wait,
to say,
he
yes,
does.
I wore
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Fashion Nova shirt, so I didn't really even see what it had said until you just said something about it. But I mean, you know, faith isn't for the weak because God gives his test to his strongest soldiers, most definitely.
Based.
And, you know, I really can't really kind of go deep into that, you know, with the stuff that's kind of going on with, you know, the Ivy situation. I don't want to, you know, get away with anything. So.
He's literally saying, I can't proclaim my faith because I too do
Right.
not want to get fired.
Yeah.
Do you think
Sad.
Fashion Nova has sold out of the shirt now?
I have no idea, but like, it is just so weird that, like, again, is it possible that he was, I don't know, maybe he is having some sort of manic thing? Then why don't you say that? He isn't even with the team, so they wouldn't know that. He's injured. He's off the roster right now. And he wouldn't have even,
I think
you know,
it's really ugly to be like, well, I won't say, but you know, kind of semi-separately, we should offer mental health. Like, yeah, I bet there are a lot of people who could use mental health counseling, whatever, in any kind of profession, definitely in sports where there's a lot of pressure and whatever. But in his video, and you can't totally know what's going on with someone from social media, so, you know, with a grain of salt, he's just like kind of calmly stating his opinion.
Yeah.
He's not like bouncing out the walls. It doesn't seem like anyone has any other evidence that he's like erratic right now.
Right.
Like,
this guy
it's
here,
ugly.
Yeah, and then the NHL just had recently too their Pride Night with the Predators and the Devils, which was the perfect matchup for Pride Night, the perfect teams to play. But just saying, it's just like, I imagine there's got to be at least one player on those teams who didn't want to have to participate in that, but they did anyway. And they shouldn't have, if more of them would stand up and say, look, this goes against my values, I'm not participating in this. They can't fire them all.
Well, that's what I really want to see from the NBA. Like, I want to see them like literally like pray before the game. Everyone just sit down and like pray or something. Like,
and that's like 80%.
It's fine when they do it. It's fine when they do it after the games. The NBA's or the NFL's always like, oh, look at these players from different teams. They come together for the prayer circle. But don't you dare say anything about your faith. Let us use you for like a heartwarming. I know, like, here's this Emmanuel Acho guy. He former player is like, Jay Ivey, so understand freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. He literally said the meme. Of course, he's getting completely shredded. And then this same piece of garbage is like, now he's like, with thunder. God is mad. Here he is, Jay Ivey on an airplane yelling, Steph Curry doesn't know Jesus. This is an evangelism. This is dangerous. Like, what, dude? Like, they're trying to paint him as insane.
Wow. And
like,
that's the thing is like
and he's taking part in it.
It's like 80% of Black Americans identify as Christian. So it's like, surely if that translates into these sports as well, then 80% of these Black people playing these sports, which is a lot, would, if they call themselves Christians, and you would think they would believe what the Bible says. Okay, well, if they would speak out, again, can't fire them all.
Right. I wonder too if, I mean, some of these people you're mentioning sounds like they have their own scandals. So if they're going to be like, and that guy's really bad, but you know, it makes me wonder, and you guys know professional sports better than I do, you know, is another team going to pick him up? Because that's also 100%, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, what team is going to be like, great, come right over here. Because, and this is sort of anecdotal, so maybe chat feels differently, but I feel like football and like the crossover between like outspoken Christian athletes is much more established. Maybe because basketball teams are smaller, like the roster is smaller. It's a little bit less like tied together for me. But I would be curious to see if there is another head coach or owner of a basketball team that is like, nope, that guy's got it right. He's got to get on our roster immediately. Because they're acting like this is the end of his career and he's so young. I mean, obviously you're saying he's a multi-million-dollar contract.
They won't do it this year. They never will, because it'll be seen as like, well, he's injured anyway, so he couldn't play. But like, they won't do it this year because it'll be seen as like one, you know, as going against the other team. But there's no way this guy doesn't play in the NBA next year. He's 23 years old, highly talented. He's going to play for some team. Unfortunately, what'll probably happen is he'll bend the knee. I know, I hope not. But like,
just bend the knee to pray. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I like the way that this is kind of backfiring a little bit. You're having all these athletes coming out, kind of like subtweeting it. And I think that's kind of enough, because everyone sees like, you know, like basketball fans are very online too. They follow these individual players' Instagrams and stuff like I don't think I follow any actual athletes on Twitter, but I saw Tucker Kraft, like our tight end, tweeted that out. And there's a reason it got 80,000 likes. It's because it was like a subtweet about like, yo, dude, no, dude. And I think what it really means is the overwhelming majority of these players do not support Pride Month and all this other stuff. The overwhelming majority of them don't. And
which means self-performative anyways. Like, it's not even sincere support. Not that they're anti the group, that they're not excited to be doing this. Like, that should tell us enough, right? Like, if you have to force people by threat of contract and ability to continue in your profession to put on the rainbow jersey, is it really that genuine of a movement?
No, right. I mean, I never even once thought it was in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows it's a grift. But then when you have head coaches coming out and being like, well, we have to educate him. It's like, dude, would you be saying that if he was any other religion? No, you wouldn't.
Right.
And like, I want you to ask, you fill that stadium of 70,000 people, probably 50% of them, 60% of them are Christians, maybe more.
Right.
They don't like this stuff either. I don't care. Like, gay people can go do whatever they are. I'm not Jesus. I can't judge people. I'm not God. but like, I don't want to support it. I don't want to give you my money to then support more degeneracy. And this guy said, like, again, it was about as milquetoast as he could have been. He was just like, hey, I don't, we're promoting what did he say?
Unrighteousness.
Unrighteousness.
It also seems like he's taking specific issue with the concept of pride, which I've heard a lot of Christians be like, the movement is literally named after a sin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this will be. We'll wrap the segment here, but it's gonna be interesting. The fallout, I think, is going to get worse. Make sure you subscribe or follow to the channel and tune in live at 2 Eastern Monday through Thursday, or 1 o'clock Eastern on Friday, or you can just watch the VODs. I have another segment here. Let me see if I can get. Ryan Kirschmeyer says Marshawn Nealand and the Cowboys took his own life because of depression for constantly being injured. Yes, I think he shot himself in a portal potty or something like that, right? Am I remembering that story right?
I remember that story. I didn't realize that was like...
I might be mixing up my stories, but I think that's... I think M. Hadelman says, hey, Jeremy, what does Rumble on my phone app always come in like 5 minutes after you started? I don't know. That's why I always run the pre-show, but I forgot to run it today. So normally, we've had a pretty good run of not having that problem. I don't know why, but we'll try to use Rumble Studio directly, I think, and see if that helps. I heard Miss Mac is now Mrs. Mac. Congratulations. When are the quadruplets due? I mean, it's best to do. I've had that conversation with my wife. Like, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, and it's like, let's just get like what ancient Chinese ground up thing can
you
we
eat a
just
bunch of yams and have a bunch of twins?
She is, by the way, 100% in agreement. She's like, yeah,
what
that's funny.
She's like, we're kind of late behind the game already. She's obviously in great physical condition, so it's not an issue there. But she's like, yeah, I'd rather,
Also, I mean, maybe your mom can talk to me about this, but like sometimes I think it would be maybe like awful and hard, but if you have triplets and like knock out the like diapers and like all that stuff at once, other than
it's very efficient.
Restart. I don't know.
Darkside says the NBA is okay with Chinese people calling the N-word in China, and players must put their heads down, including LeBron James being Christian, is speaking the truth, and evangelism is defending our faith. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Christians have kind of had enough.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out because, this happened to Eanes Cantor. Yeah, he changed his name to America. I remember that. Or something like that, right? He changed his name to America, I think. He bashed China and never got picked up by another team and then retired. Ivy's a lot younger, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get picked up by another team. Eanes Cantor did get picked up by another team, I'm pretty sure. And then I don't know if he still plays anymore now. Freedom, he changed his name to Freedom. I thought he was on another team. I could be wrong about that. This is the problem, is that everybody who's bold enough to speak out is like a C-tier player. Like, we need, come on, LeBron James.
Right.
Why don't you fucking say something? The league's not going to suspend you. Like, why wouldn't LeBron James, who claims he's Christian, say, I think it's ridiculous that this team cut him for either A, for speaking his faith, or B, if we're supposed to believe the smears, for having a mental health episode. Like, if he was they let Kyrie Irving do whatever the fuck he wanted to do, right? And it was because, as in all sports, this is a sports thing that might miss on Hannah Claire, but when you talk about when you talk about players, it's always about, are they worth the headache? We saw this with Tim Tebow. He was an average quarterback. He certainly could have been a backup on any team, but there was such a media circus around him that when he was done in Denver, nobody signed him because they were like, you're not good enough to offset the bullshit. Yeah. The same is true of a lot of defensive players. They're allowed to beat their wives as long as they get double-digit sacks. But if they have 2 sacks, they get cut. That's just the truth of it. And they let a lot of shit go for players who are good. And the second they're not, then they get cut. Guitar player, thanks for becoming a member, by the way.
Sorry.
Yeah, he is a good player. I'm not a Bulls fan, so I don't know. But that's a pretty big contract if he's a scrub. So I would assume he was pretty good. Basketball, I do like basketball, but the game today is completely indistinguishable from the game I used to love. with the flopping and the constant 3-pointers, the ridiculous fouls, and a separate set of rules for like SGA in Oklahoma City where the guy shoots fucking 43 free throws a game. Like, I don't want to watch that. I want to play I want to watch like good hard-nosed defense, and the game is, plus, Giannis has been hurt and the Bucks are in the tank, so it's easy to kind of like, I'm a home team fan. I'm not a team of the NBA. Like, a season ticket holder for the Bucks, partial season ticket holder for the Brewers. Like, I support my local sports team, but I don't give a shit about like the league. I very rarely will watch a game that is, unless it has playoff implications or something. Like, I don't think I've ever watched a baseball game that isn't the Brewers, unless there was like playoff implications, which I think has happened before. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if any of these Christians in the NBA, no other team ever picked up Cantor. Okay. Yeah. Then he went off into obscurity. He did change his name to Freedom, and then he was still playing when he was Freedom. But that was another thing. Cantor, it was kind of like he wasn't good enough to like justify, He might have been if he didn't have the media circus with him. But then every game, teams like, well, we don't want, he changed his name to Freedom. Oh, then the press is going to have to ask him political questions and all this kind of stuff. And it's just not good. But I do have a funny segment here for you guys. I mean, I don't feel bad laughing at this, but you girls often shame me, and maybe I will, but
it's the best part of Astrocast. We make you feel bad. No, I'm just kidding.
If you're just tuning in, this is a segment from our live show. We're live Monday through Thursday at 2 Eastern and Fridays at 1 Eastern. So please make sure to subscribe or follow wherever you're watching this particular clip, or if you're watching live, I'm glad you're here. Some news broke today about Kristi Noem's husband. I don't know if you guys saw this, but
against my will, I saw a little bit.
I couldn't escape it today. Like, as soon as it broke on X, there was like no running from it.
There was no running from him wearing his wife's clothes with balloons inflated underneath them. And it turns out like he's a total degenerate. Like, and the funny thing is, so to reverse back, Kristi Noem was just fired, I think, in disgrace after this stupid $200 million ad where she could ride horses in front of Mount Rushmore, and everyone was like, what's going on here? There's some shady stuff going on with the contractors there. I wonder if the Trump administration knew this was coming out. I suspect they did.
Well, I saw that. I think it was Laura Loomer tweeted something like, oh yeah, this has been a I think they referred to it as an open secret, because I guess the allegation is also that Kristi Noem's having an affair, and they're like, but people don't come down on her on it.
I couldn't even blame her. Yeah, like this. I mean, like, just so you guys know what we're dealing with here. I mean, this is Kristi Noem's husband wearing her leggings and top.
Dear. Oh my!
You put a lock on your closet. Can I just say, when I first saw this photo, I was like, is this like a joke? Like because one time Luke did like an episode of IRL wearing
bazungas.
prosthetic boobs. So I was sort of like, oh, maybe this is like a silly thing, and they're like, he's whatever, and then it just kept going, and there were more pictures and
the text messages. Like he was sending money to these people. By the way, I thought there was some discretion in the whoring community. What's going on here, whores? Like, there is only one. Let me be clear. There's only one source where these pictures and text messages could have come from.
Right.
And so they dimed out.
Him or her.
Right. It could have been him. That's fair. Two sources. Like, maybe Kristi Noem got his phone and leaked it. I
Why
don't know.
would she do that to herself? She's got enough on her plate.
She came out and was like, we were totally blindsided by this. I don't believe that for a second. I 100% believe Kristi Noem knew he was into this stuff. And that's probably why she was allegedly sleeping with the other guy who they had these spicy text messages back and forth, who's also recently been fired. I think on Friday he was gone. Why can't I think of that guy's name?
Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah, Corey. No, I don't want to put
they
any
both
like.
We're into some degeneracy at the end of the day, because just in different ways. Because if she knew about this and she was unhappy, then she could get a divorce over this. I think this is perfect grounds for divorce. And then she can talk to the other dude.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, do either of you believe she didn't know?
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Your husband's putting on your clothes and has dozens of pictures of himself. He's engaging regularly with online prostitutes.
But like, what's the period of time? Is he back in North Dakota while she lives her Secretary of Homeland Security in DC?
Is it
like that sounds weird, but I think that like so one of the things I always heard about Melania Trump during the first presidential campaign was that like they did not spend the night apart. They did not spend more than like 24 hours apart. And I think that other people have similar agreements in their marriage. And like if you are suddenly adopting a career in Washington and there's maybe already trouble there, like there's a chance she wasn't aware because she was not there to know.
It's possible.
Or maybe she was just like, hey, a divorce would be bad optics on my reputation and my brand. So instead, let's just both be shady.
You don't think this guy asked her to get gigantic implants? I'm sure it had come up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it had come up.
Yeah.
By the way, he is specifically into, at minimum, 3,000 cc sized. I don't know. I mean, I'm picturing like that. Remember that shop teacher in Canada?
Yes.
Like that. I think that it's like Z cup that he's into. Like, it's a very specific fetish called like bimboification or something like that. And like, I mean, it's possible she leaked this. I mean, maybe.
But why?
I don't. Well, maybe she wants to get a divorce.
If I saw something, my husband doing something like that, I would kind of want to leak it too, so they would know that the divorce was justified.
Right.
Mr. Mac, please be noted.
Yes. Hey, Mr. Mac, don't be doing any bimboification
Not
stuff.
that you are, but like, she'll cut you, is what she's saying.
Yeah, and I think she might actually be alluding. That was a warning, that was. I mean, like, part of me is like, you know, like, look, this is bad and it should be made fun of. If this happened to any Democrat politician, everyone would be like roasting. So like any conservative who isn't making fun of this,
for sure,
like that's hackery. Like this is objectively funny. Like him walking around in her yoga pants with balloons under his shirt and like taking pictures and sending them. Like it's objectively funny that these all got released. And I wonder, I mean, she obviously nuded. She obviously knew this. I bet you his kids didn't, who are all in their 20s, and they're probably like,
Every single day with their parents, there's some kind of headline, it seems like.
Yeah, well, Easter, what do you think? You think they're coming to Easter? They're gonna be like, hey, Dad, I got some Easter eggs. You want to borrow them? Like, it's just not, like, if you're a kid and this is your dad, this is about as humiliating as it gets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like,
that's why I feel like kind of bad laughing about it, which is like, this is the destruction of a family.
They're grown.
And, like, he made that. It doesn't matter. Like, they have grandchildren. It's still like, they made a covenant to be married. And I like what Melanie said earlier, which is like, why didn't he initiate a divorce, right? Why didn't anybody get divorced in this scenario? Well, I'm not pro-divorce, but like lying and deception is not okay.
Yeah, I think that this is just really a testament to show me, because we expect to see this stuff from the left because they're openly degenerate. And so when you see it for otherwise, it's just like, it's like, okay, if you start playing around with perversion, like it can spiral out of control. This could have started with, it could have just started with him just watching porn. And then like he kept watching it, kept watching weird stuff. And then now all of a sudden he's just reached this insane level. And so this is really a testament of that we have to be careful about what we put in front of our eyes. And, you know, the Bible tells us that sexual immorality is wrong for a reason. And when we start dabbling in these things, then it can get more and more degenerate.
That's exactly what he admitted, by the way. So the Daily Mail called him and he was basically like, I used to watch these videos. Yeah, those PayPal transactions are mine. I mean, I
can't believe he just fessed up and didn't immediately go like, you must talk to my lawyer. Like, that's kind of surprising to me.
I actually respect it.
I do. I respect if he owned up to it. Good.
Yeah. What are you going to say, brother? Yeah. You're in 4K high resolution. Don't even bother. Be like, all right. I have this
is like the husband of a high profile person. Like, I assumed it makes me wonder if they're already, like I said, like they're living separate lives anyways. Not that this is okay, not that her having an affair would be okay, but like he's like, thank goodness somebody has asked me so I can confess. Is that is it like a relief?
And this wouldn't be a surprise if the genders were reversed. Like, does anybody believe Bill Clinton is still sleeping with Hillary Clinton?
Right.
No, of course not. Like, he wasn't when he was president. There's a lot of like political marriages, and to think that doesn't also happen for women, there's a lot of gay women who will marry a man for political reasons, and gay men that will marry a woman for political reasons. It's extremely, it's more common than you would think in politics anyway. I mean, this is.
Do you think that's bad? Do you think that's bad if they are like genuinely committed to being married? I always wonder this, like. If you're gay and you were like, I'm going to be in a lavender marriage, I'm going to marry someone to have kids with and like be married.
Yeah,
is it any of my business?
Well, I think it's better than, going to the bathhouse.
Yeah, I think these people shouldn't identify with their sin too. So it's like if someone's like, okay, they have gay desire and then they want to get married, like make sure that like you can acknowledge that you have that desire, but you don't have to identify with it. Like you don't have to call yourself gay if you are, especially if you're seeking Jesus to help you overcome that desire.
Maybe he wasn't acting on it, right? I think in his particular case, this was not a gay thing. He's into women.
Right.
He was into women with a very particular body type. And this is, I wish I didn't know about this, but it is a thing. Like, we learned about it with the guy in Canada. Like, there's a group of people that get into this. Now, I thought it was just dudes who are into women that look like this. Turns out it's also, there must be a subgroup.
Oh, it's like autogynephilia in a way.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Yes, totally. Yeah. Like, I don't know why he dresses up like it. Like, that's odd. But yeah, I think it's safe to say we've heard the last from Kristi Noem politically. I think she's about cooked. I still want an investigation on what happened with that money. Like, there was like 150 million or something like that, or 50 million that went to some like LLC that just opened up. That was supposedly like a friend or something like that who had never had a job before. I don't care if they're
mad about,
who's that member Doge is Doge.
Got mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes sense. We should have answers about it.
Yeah, she's cooked her entire career. I know it was 220 million, but there was one particular aspect of the ad that was like, they gave a huge chunk of money to some agency that was like brand new, and it was like their friend or and it was a zero bid thing. So like other people, like in the government, when you do government work, like when I used to sell computers, we would get government quotes all the time. And even if they were like local government, if we weren't the rock bottom lowest price, we wouldn't get the bid because they had no choice. They had to bid it out and they had to go with who was the cheapest. So we would lose deals to like Dell all the time. And and like the guy would come in from like the city and be like, dude, I want I want to work with you. And they'd be like, eventually we figured out a way around it where it was like, well, we'll basically give the computers away, but then they would pay us for service. So it would work out for us so they could still do business locally. But like, I remember that all the time, 30 computers is crazy. Okay, I'm going to quote it out. And they'd be like, yeah, no, we just bought Dell. I'm like, well, I spent a week on this. And like, yeah, but you have to be the cheapest. It's not even about, who works. It's not because the guy, the guy and he still wants to work with you. It's not his choice.
Right.
But anyway, not great for Kristi Noem. I think she's about done now. Yeah. I think she's about done. We'll wrap the segment there. Remember, 2 Eastern, Monday through Thursdays. And Fridays at 1 Eastern. By the way, there was a super chat I want to address. Guitar player, when I'm going through a hard time right now, I had to put my dog to sleep last night.
Oh.
My heart goes out to you. It's easily I'm sure like, having to do to a child will be worse, but like, for me, it's always been the hardest thing ever, even my cats, and, just know it takes some time and, you're going to feel empty for a little while, but give yourself time to feel that way. And don't run out and get another dog right away. Feel bad for a little while, then go get another dog. Because you don't want to like erase their memory, You know, like I think that, you know, when I lost Indy, like he was like 2 weeks, and I was like, every day I was like, you know, opening the door, go to my office, and I'd be like looking down for him, like, and he wasn't there, or look over to. Then finally, Heather's like, just get the damn dog. I'm like, okay, you know, great. But you should still take some time to feel sad. That's okay. Someone said almost a year. I'm still not okay. If it's been a year, get another dog. Get another dog. Make new memories.
No pressure.
Now, dog. Well, fair. But if you're still feeling bad a year later, you have that hole.
Maybe you can get a different breed, and so that
don't get one that looks like them.
Yeah,
yes.
don't get
one
that looks like. Get a different breed, and
and they say this about cats, because I remember like my cat, he was old, he was like 17, and when his time came, it was really sad. I was like, I'll never get another pet. He was best. And then they say this is a cat, it's like the cat distribution. This happened to Melanie.
Oh yeah,
the cat showed up.
Did.
Like
it did.
Then you're like, well, like I don't know if it works the same with dogs really, but like maybe there is a when you see one, you'll know it's time kind of thing.
That helps. Yeah, that works with cats. Like
Maybe you need to start perusing the like shelters in your area, and if you see one, you'll know you're ready. But if one doesn't stand out to you, you know, keep mourning.
The different breed is a good. That's why I got a German Shepherd, not a Lab. So then I would never feel like I had to compare the two. You know, like a lot of people are like, "You had a Lab, you said it was so great. Why didn't you get another Lab?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't want to constantly replace it, compare them to my other Lab. You know, I wanted to just have something completely different." And now I compare them in a different way. Every day I wake up and I'm like, "Man, life was so much easier with the Lab." Like, these little bastards, like every day, it never ends. There's another story I had. Let me see here. I thought I had it. Poor Kristi Noem. No, you know what? She did it to herself. That stuff always comes out. You know, like that stuff always. Oh, by the way, there's a female journalist kidnapped in Baghdad today. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be somebody backed by Iran. This is going to be bad. She's dead for sure. Like, that's how this stuff ends. You know what I mean? Like,
and there were this was the CNN's journalists it's separate from the CNN journalists that were like beat up, right?
Correct. Yeah. She was kidnapped in broad daylight. Shelley Kittleson, a freelance reporter covering the Middle East and Afghanistan, was abducted by a group of unidentified men near her hotel. So I guess we have to call the Taliban and ask them for help here. The Iraqi Interior Ministry confirmed that a foreign journalist was kidnapped by unknown individuals, and that security forces are pursuing the perpetrators. No, they're not. This one, she's just dead. Like, I hope it's quick, and I hope they don't do what I think they're going to do to her. Like, I hate to be so like, look, I respect the hell out of being a journalist, but I just think at some point being a female journalist in Iraq, probably not worth the clout. Yeah. Probably not worth the clout. Like, I get it. I don't know. I feel like I'm victim blaming here, but at some point you're like, there's a percent of like acceptable risk here.
Yeah. Maybe like, don't put yourself in unnecessary like terrible situation. And I mean, it's sad. It's a sad situation, but I mean, at the same time, it's like we do need to have common sense here and say, yeah, people shouldn't be doing that. Women shouldn't be trying to.
Yeah, I think you just
in that field there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is too bad. I mean, you know, the top comment on this article is sorry, not sorry. Very, very reckless move on her team. Now, I'm not going to blame her for what happened, but at some point, you're like, I don't know. At some point, you're just taking crazy risk, especially as a woman in the Middle East. Like, famously, there was a CNN reporter who was like fucking sexually assaulted on camera.
Right.
And like, you know, like you see that and you're like, I should go there. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think you get, I don't know. The ad No Man was not a Homeland Security ad. It was her first presidential ad. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Laura Logan. That was crazy. And like, this is like what do they call it when women, I want to go to India. Like, women, don't go to India. You're going to get raped. Like if you're a blonde, good looking female, you're going to get, did you see this fucking video? There was an Indian guy at a grocery store in California, and he was just taking his dick out and rubbing it on women.
Yeah,
Ugh.
gross.
Like, why would you go there? Why would you go there? This is what they do when they're here. Why would you go there? Leave that to the men. At least the men are probably not going to get brutally raped for days before they kill them. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know. Then again, if you're like Hassan Piker, you believe that these people don't ever rape anybody and it's never happened. I can't find it. Oh yeah, I thought about. I have this. Let me quickly change the topic here because that's kind of dark. I hope she is found safe, but she won't be. By the way, if you ever need any help cutting your dog's nails, this is a pretty good hack. Yeah, it's a pretty good hack here.
Oh no.
I don't like this.
Now the vet puts it on the wall, but I guess like you could do that too. You could.
Have
do
you
that.
tried this hack? You've got a bunch of dogs.
They're fine cutting their nails. They just let me cut their nails. They don't care.
She doesn't like it. She's a little multi-poo, but she just shivers while I cut her nails, but she'll stay still.
She just gives in. She's terrified.
She has she gets that little dog like Chihuahuas where she shivers when she's uncomfortable at all. So she's very autistic, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
her
we all
nails
are a little bit.
trimmed. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I've never had. I know people who have had dogs that are like crazy difficult to cut. But I've never had that problem. But I have, like I said, I have absolutely seen it. Like I don't know. That's also the, she's using one of those Dremels. I've never used one of those before, but people say they work pretty good for cutting dog nails. I had this other topic here. Hold on a sec. How is everybody? How was your weekend? I didn't ask you, Melanie.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good. Just normal stuff.
Did everyone miss our discussion of what foods we eat at Easter because we weren't live?
Oh, they did. Yes.
Oh yeah, they did. Apparently, these girls make some sort of coffins that explode when they're being baked.
No, I was saying this is I have a family member that does. I think it's called Tomb's empty rolls. And I think you get crescent rolls, you wrap it around a marshmallow, so it's like someone's in the tube, and then when you cook them, it puffs up, but then it's hollow in the middle because the tomb is empty because Jesus is risen.
And my mom makes a cake like that. Just she has the tomb and she puts chocolate frosting on it, and then she has the tomb. The stone is rolled away because he is risen, and I
think that's cool. I'm sorry you hate symbolism in food. I guess
I just say it's kind of dark. It's like, here we make little pretzel crosses and we put red frosting to represent the blood from his hands on each one. Isn't that cute?
Don't you want the kids to learn?
Yes.
Are you going to go through Christmas without reading the Bible? You're just saying it's about the tree and the presents?
I'm just
Easter's
saying like
the same
that's
way, buddy. You think it's about the bunny and the eggs? No.
It's kind of hardcore. That's all I'm saying. I respect it. I'll just stick to, brightly colored hard-boiled eggs, Oh, here's a tradition we do. Have you guys ever heard of knocking? Is that what it's called?
No,
Knock?
This sounds very Midwestern.
Chat, does anybody in chat know what I'm talking about?
Does anyone knock?
Are you just pronouncing the K and knock?
I think it's called knocking.
Okay.
It's fuck off. Come on, nobody in chat?
No.
Knock.
So,
I got a good knock joke for you.
Shut up, bitch.
Knock who's there, Melody?
Yes, you take hard-boiled eggs, and then everyone takes like a hard-boiled egg, and then you knock them against each other, and if you crack their egg, you win. And then you keep going through. Nobody's heard of this?
No.
Oh my
I appreciate
God.
how creative your family was. Tell me this is deep.
Maybe they invented it
from the settlers of Wisconsin.
I'm looking right now. Knocking egg game. Let's see.
Knocking.
Egg tapping or knocking is traditional Easter game. So maybe it is just called knocking, but my
From
grandpa
who?
always
What
called
culture's
it
tradition. Like maybe
Bulgaria.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting.
Yeah, maybe my grandpa just says knocking, like, you know.
Which I'm glad he
people
does.
call
It's
them
way more whimsical.
some other names are egg fight, egg knocking, knocky eggs, egg jarping, busties, or egg packing. I don't know. I never heard of that. He always ever called it. Okay, now that it could be any other name. Nobody does that with their hard-boiled eggs?
No. I never
There
have.
we go. I got one. Blue helmet. We did that with eggs. Yes.
One of like what,
Hey.
10,000 people watching?
That's the thing at Easter, at a grandparents' Easter. You find the right hard-boiled egg. You got to check to see if there's any like micro cracks in it. Take a flashlight, pull the flashlight up to it, look to see if there's any structural damage, and then it's on. And then like whoever stands last is like,
This
the
is a
winner.
fantastic game that I'm totally going to, adopt. I don't want to say steal, but
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you have to. Like, yeah. Yeah, see, lots of people, we color them, then it's on. Yeah, that's what we do.
what do you call it? Do you call it knocking?
My grandpa always calls it knocking, but I've only ever heard of it there and played it there, but that's it. They get colored and then it's fucking on like Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Donkey Canuck.
Funny.
Yeah. Let's see, do you get everyone's eggs when you win? By the time we're done playing, those eggs have been sitting out all day. Nobody wants them. Like, they're just like, you win. Usually by the end, people just stop even playing. But it's every year. The kids love it. Like the little kids who come, I'm going to get you, Grandpa. I don't know. I guess.
I think this is great. What a wholesome
love it.
non-screen activity.
Do you hit the side or the end?
Also-
The ends. You hit the ends, not the side. It's end to
You
end.
don't
Tip
give
to
a
tip.
strategy. People got to figure this out on their own.
But
Or is
that's
that
how
part
you
of the rule?
play. That's how you play. Yeah. Yeah. You do the end. Yeah. I need to teach my son. See, we're gonna single-handedly spread knocking.
You guys all have to call it that to honor Jeremy's grandfather.
Yes.
Yeah. Michael Lilly said we threw one raw one in for added joy. I could definitely see people doing that. I could definitely see people doing that. Yeah. That was yeah. That would be funny. So, or we could call it busties. Busties is kind of more funny too. And sounds more Gen Z slang.
Kristi Noem scandal. I don't know. It's just inappropriate.
I mean, there's no denying that they were busties. I mean,
It's always going to be knocking to me. The fact that Melanie just asked you kind of if you were stupid.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Or maybe just cultural. I don't know what her intention was.
It could be. It could be any number of things. Could absolutely be that I'm stupid, but we do play that game. I do have another segment I wanted to do here. If you're catching this later, this is just a segment from our live show where we're live Monday through Thursday at 2 Eastern and then Fridays at 1 Eastern. So hopefully you'll tune in. And if you missed the live show, then you can always watch the VODs. We do a couple of segments each day. I don't know if you guys saw this story about Lily Bova. She is a high schooler from Chicago area, the suburbs of Chicago. And it happened to her. We'll just put it that way. And, just like Irina Zarutska, just like, the guy, literally the woman last week, the college girl last week in Chicago, where an illegal immigrant just like walked up and snuffed out her life for no reason whatsoever. What's interesting about this story is that the police, in every article and everything they've shared, they have refused to share any information on the suspect. But somehow they also know that it was an isolated incident and there's no more risk involved. So they won't say anything about the suspect. They don't know who the suspect is. They're apparently searching for them, but they know that it was an isolated incident and that nobody else is in danger. And I think those two things are impossible. You can't know that. And then, and of course, in one random video, the police chief who was doing a press conference said it was Hispanic. They were Hispanic. But nowhere, not any other article anywhere are they saying they're Hispanic. Now, maybe they're not Hispanic. I don't know. But it seems unlikely to me that this is not going to end up being another debacle. Another young white woman snuffed out by an illegal. Like, I don't see how this doesn't end up like that. And I don't know, how how much more of this is going to go on. Like, I don't really know. I mean, every incident is not an isolated incident.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I just, and it gets a little tiresome to keep hearing that.
Wow. It's
Sorry,
like
I'm
they
pulling
can't
up this
keep them all
story because
secrets.
I just want to know. I want to know what is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there are any witnesses there or anything who can actually speak on what happened, since the media wants to cover it up.
Well, the dad has put out some cryptic Facebook posts too
Okay.
that seem to indicate he knows who it is too.
Oh.
Because he put out
One
some like, we need to get the guns out of young kids' hands. So like,
Well, because you're saying illegal, but I was sort of wondering when they're like, it's an isolated incident. If it's like some kid who was obsessed with her and like attacked her
ex-boyfriend maybe or something.
That's
Yeah.
one of the things CBS is noting. You know, the authorities have not provided any information on circumstances that led to the shooting or whether Lily knew her shooter or if the shooting was random. Like,
Yeah.
if it's targeted and this person's gone on the run, now is it some like older man that, you know, what horrible circumstance can you fill in here? I don't know, but it's odd that they're not saying anything, but they're also like, and grief counselors are available at the high school. If you were
Right.
a parent of a high schooler who was friends with this kid, I would absolutely be on your side. Like, how do you know for sure it's an isolated incident? Very strange.
Well, especially if you don't know, who she was. I'm sorry, if you don't know, allegedly, you can't both know that it's an isolated incident and not know who did it.
Right.
Right.
You
There's apparently
cannot know that.
There's a nonprofit that's apparently offering up to $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the murderer. But it sounds like the police have some kind of information they're withholding, which I guess is their prerogative. But
The one argument could be they're a minor, but then
that's kind of what I was wondering.
but why would they come out and say, well, it's a minor. We know who it is, but that's not what they've done. They just are not answering any questions about. So they're like, help us find this person, but we won't give you a description of how they look
That's
or who
so
they are.
weird.
But also we know it's an isolated incident. So that tells me there's also another weird thing here. The kid who is 16 was not living with dad, but seemed to have an okay relationship with dad, but was living with her older sister. So it's possible that maybe that bullet was meant for her older sister. Maybe, I don't know. But I mean, this is on the back of last week, a college kid having the same thing happen to him. Now, there's no evidence that this person is an illegal. We just have the report that they're Hispanic, which, quite honestly, it's Chicago. Like, there's a lot of,
So she was shot and killed inside her apartment around 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
yeah, middle of the day on a Saturday in an upper middle class neighborhood.
And they're not saying like, and there were obvious signs of a break-in. So if there aren't, that means like this person either had access or was let in or broken.
Yeah, it very well could be an ex-boyfriend. But this is Chicago's mayor, by the way.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that. It is racist. It is immoral. It is unholy.
Why is arresting violent people racist? Are you saying? Are you?
He said it.
Is he saying it? Is he?
I think he's saying it.
I think he said it. Yeah, I think that.
Also, isn't crime pretty bad in Chicago? So like we tried it and it didn't work, and then we tried nothing and it's not working. So
just let him go. Let them all commit crimes. It's fine.
Just
guys.
Chicago in and stop all flights there. That's his suggestion.
Yeah. Well, and of course, it's also a sanctuary city.
I don't know why people live there, especially if you're a law-abiding citizen. It's chaotic over there. The violence is out of control. Yeah, just leave.
Stay away from Chicago. Like,
yeah,
it's it is actually bonkers down there. I mean, people who live in Chicago always tell me it's not that bad, and then they think like I haven't been there. Like, it's an hour drive for me. Like, I've been to Chicago plenty of times. It's a shithole, and I'm not saying the people there are bad. I just mean like and again, we're talking about, there are nice parts of Chicago, of course, just like every major city. Everybody worth anything moves out of the city, and the only people that are left in the city are the people that, enjoy their crime. Milwaukee's the same way. Like, every single couple, the second they have enough money to move out of the city, they get out of the city. But what that means is all you leave are the dregs. And, there's Chad said there's less crime in Chicago when Capone was running it. Probably. I mean, it is, you can't jail your way out of crime. I mean, yeah. wanted the water back. Yeah. Yeah.
Big Chicago got him.
Yeah, I'm back. This whole nonsense, like, the math doesn't math. They're like, well, we can't put enough of them in jail. And it's just like, build more jails then. What do you mean? What do you mean? Are you saying the government doesn't have money to put people in jail? I assure you the government has plenty of money to build more jails. Or they can use private jails that run for profit. You know, you want to get into the pros and cons of all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. But I don't accept the argument of like, well, I mean, gosh, our jails are overflowing. Build more jails. It's not racist to put people in jail. They're committing a crime. I'm sorry. If you have a problem in the black community that leads to a higher percentage of crime, let's say hypothetically, 8% of the population committing 50% of the violent crimes, then maybe you should look at that 8% of the population and not the fact that you don't have enough room in jail. Like it's and see how many innocent people have to die. Now, maybe it'll turn out that this girl, it was just, her ex-boyfriend had nothing to do with like, I don't know. It had nothing, it was no bigger headline. It wasn't an illegal, it wasn't an attempted break-in. It was just some teenager ex-boyfriend idiot that she broke up with. Maybe. Not that makes it better, but it does make it less political.
Yeah.
I thought it was curious that the dad was gun grabbing though. Her dad was like, I thought that was an interesting thing to say. Like, how do you know?
Well, that's what I mean when he's like got it. And I don't know his exact quote, but if you're saying he said, let's get guns out of the hands of like young men or something.
Teenagers, he said. If people underage or something like that. Yeah.
That makes me think he does know who did it. But I mean, we're kind of on a separate conversation when we talk about jails being overcrowded or whatever. Like, I think there are probably, reasonable ways to reform our prison system to make it more effective, to, the question is always like, is it about reform or is it about removing someone from society? And it might depend on the crime.
It's about remove them.
Right. I just don't understand, like, if you don't like the system and your plan is to what, right? Like it's the same thing when people are like, let's abolish the police. Yeah. And what? And they're like, we'll put social workers on the ground. You're like, to do what? Like, what is a social worker going to do if someone is like swinging a knife around? What is the plan here? It's like fun in theory, but in practice, it ignores the actual dangers that are out there. I'm not saying that our jail system is perfect. I'm not saying everything has to run exactly as it does right now, but like, I don't think your solution of like, well, let's just get rid of it is reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't just say this is bad and not have, like, this is very common in like political commentary. And it's like, yeah, like you could say like woke movies suck. And then they'll be like, well, why? Well, I could tell you why, as they prioritize, the right color skin of people and they don't prioritize good writing or making good movies. In a world of finite amount of time, you only have so much time to do this, that, and other. Same thing with video games. Every minute you're paying somebody to make sure you have LGBTQ storylines and pink hair and this, that is another minute you're not playtesting the game. And you're not making it, your focus is not on making the best game ever. It's on making the most diverse game ever. The same is true in Hollywood. If you're going to talk about people who have a problem with jails, tell me what your problem is. Because if your problem is, as the mayor said, too many black people in jail, that's not a problem. Like, your problem is you don't have enough space. Like, it's very easy to not murder somebody. I know it's a hot take, but like, it's pretty easy to not deal drugs.
Setting unreasonable expectations, Jeremy. I just don't think that standard.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really buy this nonsense. Like, oh no, like we don't have enough room, or oh, systemic racism. I don't care what happened to your grandma's grandma. That did not make you pull the trigger and kill somebody. That did not make you sell fucking crack. You didn't have to sell crack. I don't care how poor you were. I knew a lot of poor people when I was young and none of them sold crack. All right. You don't have to do that. And it's like, these liberals are like, well, what else are they supposed to do? They're black and dumb. Like that's what they say. I don't say that.
They do. They say that.
They can't even use they can't even use a computer. They can't even get an ID. What else are they supposed to do but sell crack? It's like, well, maybe deal with your own racism. and your own
Yeah.
prejudices of the black community. I'm saying I hold the black community the same standard that I hold white people to. If you murder somebody, you should go to prison and you should get the same sentence. You shouldn't be let out. There was a story I covered today. A woman was arrested 70 times and she stabbed a pregnant woman in the belly at the grocery store yesterday. Like 70.
I've never seen anything coming. We have no idea how this could have happened.
Yeah, it was an isolated incident. It's like, at what point do we just say, you know what? You just don't get to be in civilized society anymore. You're going to get life in prison. I don't care if it's 50 times that you know, any more than 2 violent offenses should be a serious amount of time in prison. They're like, well, the prison system's overloaded. Build more prisons. So I don't really understand the problem here. It's like, oh, I'm still hungry. Okay, make another sandwich. Next question. Like, it's so weird that we have to keep getting killed by these people. And law-abiding citizens have to continue to, like, you know, live in fear. This poor woman was like, yeah, if I didn't turn around when I did, she was going to stab me, like, right in the baby. She was going to stab me right in the belly. This woman was just getting out of her car. The woman next to her was pulling out of her car. White lady putting her toddler in the car seat while pregnant. Other woman gets out of her car for no reason. They had no altercation and stabs her. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? You're feral. There is no, what am I supposed to do with that? Put you in prison for the 71st time? I don't really know. You know, like, you get life in prison. That's it. You have multiple violent offenses. You get right with God while you're in prison. But that's what we build prisons for, to keep these people away from,
right,
you know, law-abiding citizens. There's supposed to be a benefit to not getting arrested. I don't want to live next to these people either way.
Yeah.
Anyway, mini rant. Sorry. I just get so tired of it. It's so tiresome. It's like Irina Zarutska, you know, that guy was arrested, 13 times? Oh, Hannah Claire's power went out. Arrested 13 times.
And make jail more unpleasant. Like, give them more work to do or something.
Break
to where
rocks.
it's like, yeah, exactly. They need to think, oh my goodness, last time I went to jail, I had to break rocks all day. It was exhausting. I'm tired. I do not want to do that again. I couldn't eat anything but bread and cold beans. Like, make it not fun.
Right.
Sorry, my lights are really having a time right now. Hello? I think I'm being haunted. I think my lights have an opinion on this subject. There was an article a long time ago that I thought was really interesting from, I read it in Time magazine, but it was about this island off the coast of Sweden. And it was essentially a prison island, right? Like, you got convicted of violent crime, you were sent there. And but they had free range. Like, they had places to live. They couldn't get off the island because it was too far without a boat. But that it was like a question of, like, do you reform people or do you isolate them? And there were times that these people, even though they had basically free reign of the island, they, you know, had whatever they needed there. Some of them would, like, get in the water and try to swim back to the mainland because the isolation. Now, it's not supposed to be like, I don't think there was any, like, violence or whatever else. It's not like it was a crazy place, but there was this, like, being separated from society had a lasting impact on them. And I think sometimes people want a solution like that for every kind of offense, right? Like, I think if you got arrested and you were jailed for selling drugs, you probably could reform, right?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe you don't hang out in prison forever, but is the prison serving you like that? Like, is the arrest actually setting you up to re-enter society? I don't know. I can't answer that question. If you have been repeatedly arrested for...
Big violent crime got her. Yeah.
Oh my
She's
gosh, what is happening to me today?
Yeah, you're back. So if you've been repeatedly arrested for, and then you cut out.
Violent crimes, like, at a certain point, we have to be like, you are not even trying to get better. Because that's what I think my cat is scratching this painting right now. It's over me. Coincidentally, is also black. So I don't know if she just has
hit.
Because she used to live in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, nobody said anything about black. I'm talking about career criminals.
I'm talking about cats. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Whatever. Anyways, like, I think there is this like bleeding heart desire, like, in the best, most hopeful version, where it's like, well, there's always a chance for people to have redemptions. I mean, Christians believe that, right? You can always seek forgiveness. on the other hand, if you cannot control yourself, if you are always threatening people, if you're repeatedly arrested for violence, remember Jordan Neely, who broke a 62-year-old woman's jaw? Like, there are times that we have to question, like, does this person have the capacity or the willingness? And that feels very different.
Well, go get right with God while you're in prison.
Yeah, that's like we can want them to get saved in prison, and they can just stay there, and they can go to heaven when their time is done. But they
if you're on your 71st chance and your action is to stab a pregnant woman, like, I think we're done here. We should have been done probably 65 chances ago.
You just life in prison now. That's what you get.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's why like the 3 strikes rule was a thing too.
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap the segment there. Make sure you tune in live Monday through Thursday at 2 Eastern or Fridays at 1 Eastern. Or hopefully you enjoyed the segment. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you have been arrested for violent offenses multiple times, that's it. You just get life in prison, period. Like, there's just no, I'm not interested in it anymore. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why am I supposed to?
That's the question. Like, are the resources being used effectively? What are we accomplishing? And like I said, like, if we could have a prison system where it's like, if you're on this lesser tier of like troubled behavior, let's say, you get off-ramped, great. But if we've already passed it, you're so violent that you've been repeatedly convicted. Like, I don't think you treat these two people the same way. And I think that's the question about the prison system right now. Like, are you accomplishing what you think you're going to? And I think people don't actually view them the same way, partially because we don't have asylums, right? Like, if you're so crazy, you can't help but be violent. We used to incarcerate you in an asylum.
Right. We used to have that. And you would get life in there too. You'd be institutionalized for life.
Right.
Like this woman. Deranged mom knifes her 14-year-old daughter to death, claims it was to, quote, protect her from Elon Musk.
What?
Now, I don't know what's going on with the mom here. Did she try to hang herself? It looks like it.
Oh!
It
does look like that.
Yeah, it looks like...
Oh, my.
I mean, if you tried to, if you killed your daughter, I'm sure it's a dark time,
Yeah, this is... Tynese Oniski in Turtle Rock County confessed to having killed her daughter the night before. During a 13-minute call, she acted to protect her from somebody else, later naming Elon Musk as the perceived threat. What?
Like, this person's crazy. And that's like sad and tragic in a bunch of other ways.
When asked if she wanted an ambulance, she snapped and said, "She's dead, honey. She needs a hearse." Officers found the dead teenager of multiple stab wounds inside the house, knife nearby. Oniski was found with cuts to her neck and wrist in a apparent suicide attempt. Yeah, okay.
Oh, my.
Too bad she failed. I mean, I think that's crazy. Like, it's just a crazy person. It's just a story to kind of remind people that there are crazy people out there. Not everything is like, there's like all those people coming out against Trump, right? Trump raped me 45 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. Blah, 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 blah. Even though like there's no evidence of it. Trump was never in the area. And Donald Trump was 6 years old when this happened. You know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of like weirdness out there in the world today. Her poor daughter, by the way, she tested positive for benzos, amphetamines, and THC.
Oh.
So she was high.
Daughter?
The mom. Yeah, the mom.
So she was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess scratching up a tussle was out of the question. Yeah, right. I mean, she could have. Yeah, it's messed up. The world is like really crazy right now. I feel like a lot of this stuff is, people are like, mental illness is a real thing in this country, and like I don't think that giving people pills, like if she was on benzo, those might have been prescribed.
Right.
Like it doesn't mean she bought them off the street, or like I don't really know what are benzos, like Xanax and stuff like that. I think it's like benzos are for like calming you down, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like
sedative hypnotic medications that depress the central nervous system. So it's entirely possible that she was prescribed these things and she had like some sort of craziness in her, and they just never. They didn't treat it right. They just gave her pills or whatever. I don't know. It's too bad. Build a mega city type prison in the middle of the desert, in No Man, Alaska, and Antarctica. I agree with that. You know, like, what was that movie where they had those prisons? Was that Judge Dredd? Or like, what if like, what were those, like, was it the Marvel movie where there was like, I think that was in Deadpool, where they had like, the prison cells were like just barely enough to stand tall in, and you were just like suspended in the air, and you had like thousands of those people. Like, I don't really care. Like, just, I don't, this idea that we're all supposed to get stabbed by these lunatics, and until they finally, this is going to get me back to the other topic, but it's like, how many times, it's like they wait until they kill somebody before they finally like give them a real sentence.
Right.
You know, Irina Zaruska would probably be alive right now if that guy had actually gotten a real sentence one of the 25 times he was arrested.
Right.
You know, and it said they're like, well, we'll just give him a year. You know, our numbers on arrested black people are just too high right now.
We've talked about this before, but like, it does make you want to go to the judges and be like,
yes, they shouldn't have immunity.
You're in charge of sentencing. This is where we are. You know, like, or I mean, if we're supposed to be like a data-driven world, right? Can we look at like, is there a way to say like, your subjective decision on, you know, sentencing is effective this amount of times? Now we'd have to define what the goal is. Is it rehabilitation? Is it keep people safe? Like, it's kind of macro, but on the other hand, like, if you're a judge that's constantly letting people go after a year and actually everyone is reoffending, I feel like you are not very good at this and maybe should not be in charge of sentencing anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly. For me, it's just, there's generally a pattern here. And I think if judges, I mean, the threshold should be high, because like, look, if you sentence somebody to 10 years and they come back out and they kill somebody, okay, well, I don't know. But like, if you're traditionally or consistently on the lower end of sentencing, and these people are traditionally reoffending, or, you know, continually reoffending, these judges should have civil liability. Like, now some people would argue, well, that's going to mean they're going to be giving out max sentences to everyone. I again say, well, don't break the law. Yeah, I don't know what you want. Yeah. Oh, they gave a guy who murdered somebody 40 years to life. Okay, fine. I don't care. Like, oh, manslaughter, you gave him the full 10. Okay, don't care. You know, if you had, you know, some weed salesman, you know, getting 5 years in prison, you know, I don't know how you actually fix this. But I feel like there's no accountability for the judges. And then that's why we have to live with these people. Until such a point where they stab our pregnant wives, or they randomly walk up to a kid in Florida and slash his throat, like they did to that kid a couple weeks ago. Like, it's all very, very weird. Anybody got some good news to end up on here?
Oh,
I saw Tomb Raider filming is delayed, but it was because of an injury. So I was like, okay, well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is delayed though.
Yeah. Well, I think with that, then I guess we'll just had to send you over to Viva Fry. Looks like he's got JF Garapi on his show today. So I don't know what they're talking about. The Daily Wire Mirror, the Daily Mail's title. He says Daily Mirror, but I think he means Daily Mail, because it was on the Daily Mail.
Daily Mirror is a Canadian publication, I think. Am I wrong?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe. I'm sure they're talking about the, you know, the bullet didn't match nonsense.
Is what I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
God, probably.
Yeah, I think he means the Daily Mail, because the Daily Mail literally like ran a headline that the bullet didn't match, even though that is in fact not true. That's not what happened. The bullet fragmented, and thus they could not make a positive identification on the bullet. But the Daily Mail ran some stupid thing just to pander to candy tards to say like, ooh, bombshell, the bullet doesn't match, except when you actually click through and read the article, it in fact does not say that. It says it was too fragmented.
We can say a lot of things with Daily Mail, but they know how to get you to click through.
They're the best.
That is true.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, they're the best at it. There's no doubt about it. All right, everyone, go say hi to Viva, and we'll see you back tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Whoops, I mistyped raid. Just keep going. Wait, why isn't this doing it? Hold on, keep going. There we go. All right. Bye, all.
Bye.